I want to say this from a perspective of somebody, I'm being very honest. I didn't vote for Trump, and the wall never really was a talking point to me. I agreed with the left for a while. I was like, yeah, it's divisive, it's not necessary. But I want to use this simple logic, and we can go step by step, see if it makes sense to you. I hope it does, because we need to come together over something. This country is divided. No pun intended with the wall, you get it. So, every apartment building, especially if you go to inner city areas or hoods, they got bars on all the windows. You know what I'm saying? Like in a lot of neighborhoods I've lived in, they had bars on the windows. You go to Brooklyn, you go to parts of Queens, bars on the windows. It's because it's an extra layer of protection. You don't want someone to bust your window. Most apartment complexes have fences around or some sort of gate to stop people from coming in to certain areas that they would normally come in. I mean, almost every apartment complex I know has those, especially in cities. Maybe if you live in the country or in the suburb, might be so safe that you don't need that. But Mexico, I mean, I love Mexico. I have family from Mexico. There's millions of great people in Mexico now and from Mexico, but they're suffering from their worst murder rate in modern recorded history. You could look it up, 2017. They've had more murders than ever. Even Washington Post admits we can't drop people off there. It's dangerous. So you're admitting that it's dangerous. Of course, we don't want to leave people there, but at the same time, we don't want to inherit Mexico's problems. And to be honest, a lot of Mexican politicians have recently been murdered. You had a helicopter mysteriously crash. You had people on the left and the right in Mexico mysteriously killed within the last 2 weeks. Some of them murdered for sure, some of them mystery. What I'm saying is Mexico, it's a beautiful place. It's a great place with a lot of history and a lot of present day stuff. But clearly they have issues and problems that we don't particularly want to inherit in the United States. Let's go back to the apartment complex thing. Every single apartment building I know has a front door. It's not because you hate the people outside. It's not because you're trying to do anything. They have a door and usually a lock because that's the first area of protection. It's pretty standard. So what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer literally said after 2 and 3 minutes of pandering, keep in mind you could look up clips of Chuck Schumer a couple years ago saying the same things that Trump said. He said, I don't believe in the term undocumented immigrants. That means I'm being too soft. I believe in illegal aliens. Call them illegal aliens. And now he's like, ooh, I can't call them illegal aliens. They're undocumented friends of mine. And it's like, dude, if that's how you always felt or that's how you truly feel, I understand that. I'm not going to knock someone's vocab. But for someone who you could literally look up his speeches from before Trump, it's clear that they're just playing opposite day. Like they want to oppose Trump and they've convinced people of this big plot where if they do the opposite of Trump, they're somehow virtuous, even though it makes no sense and it goes against what they said. Anyway, they said, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi specifically said, we believe in border security. We just don't believe in a border wall. This is not Trump saying this. This is not me saying this. This is the Democratic Party leaders. Listen to what I'm saying and just try to follow my logic. We don't believe in a border wall. We don't want a border wall, but we believe in border security. Imagine your landlord at your apartment saying, we believe in border security. We just don't want a front door. We're going to leave the whole front wide open. But we believe in security because we're totally not racist or anything. So we're not going to put a door. We're not going to put a lock. We're not going to put any sort of fences. We're going to leave it totally open so people could come from any area and just cross easily. That's the first line of defense: is the fence or the wall or the door, whether it's locked or unlocked. It's something. We don't live in the middle of the desert with where rain flat. Like we have walls. Every part of life has walls, and every apartment complex. If my landlord told me that they were going to keep me safe and protect me and do a great job, they just didn't want a door or a fence, I would laugh hysterically in their face. To be honest, I've had a landlord like that. My neighbor got broken into. Ironically enough, it was a 19-year-old girl from Mexico City. I mean, she came all the way from Mexico by herself, a good young girl. I'm not even making this up. She was an LGBT girl from Mexico. Her house got broken into because I had a landlord who didn't believe in security. Like everything was open, and I'm saying to him, I'm like, dude, aren't you gonna secure our border? This literally happened to me at my old complex. And he was like, no, we don't have to do that. He's just like the Democrats. No, that's not what it is. Oh, well, of course that's what it is, because there's so many ways that people can get in. and they can go right up to the window. You know, it's why in most cities, depending where you live, there's bars on almost every single window. So he had no security, no bars, and people constantly took advantage of it, and they're hurting young Mexican women. The people in this situation, the same people that the Democrats claim to care about. But even if you hate President Trump, I don't care if you don't like President Trump. I understand why. Honestly, I do. I get that he has a personality. It's not for everybody. I personally like him because he's a wrecking ball to the establishment. He's making people show their true colors. And honestly, it's exciting to have somebody who's like switching up the whole political game, because it was totally fake and phony for a long time. But if your leader, whether you hate Trump or not, says to you, we believe in border security, but we don't believe in a border wall, it is exactly the same as your apartment landlord saying, we believe in protecting your apartment. We just don't believe in any sort of wall or front door. We're just going to leave it wide open, but then we're going to somehow secure it. That's the first line of defense. If you're trying to stop a leak anywhere in, whether it's physical, with people, any sort of, like, you take this ideology, this philosophy, this basic stuff, applied to any aspect of life, you can't stop all the water from coming in unless you board it up. It's not going to stop just because it's like so ridiculous and so obvious. And I just don't understand how people don't understand that. I have someone who follows me on Twitter who's been very kind, more progressive, left-leaning, but to be honest, they get it most of the time. They said, Anomaly, that's not true. People will just dig tunnels. So we shouldn't build a wall because people will just dig under it. That's like saying, like, literally, take that same philosophy. We shouldn't build a wall because people will dig under it. Don't have a front door because someone might break in your window. So, you know what I'm saying? Well, someone might do that. So why even have a front door? Why not just smash your whole front wall down? And you know what I'm, because someone might break in the window, or they might come from under. They might, who knows? They might unscrew your sink and come in from the other unit. I mean, of course, those are possibilities, but it's a lot harder to break in someone's window than it is to walk in a wide open door. Just like it's a lot harder to dig a 40-foot, it's going to cost a lot of money and time to dig a tunnel. Of course they're going to do it, but you're talking about blocking 95% of this stuff. Of course people are going to overstay their visas. Of course people are going to do stuff anyway. Of course Mexicans coming in illegally is not the biggest problem in the world. You know, I'm personally very grateful for Mexico being below us. Honestly, as far as other countries and some other extremists in the world, I don't think Mexico's the worst neighbor. Although, if you do look at them, like I said, they have the largest or the highest murder rate in their recorded history. It is a problem. So what I'm trying to say is just have a little respect for yourself. Even if you don't believe in the wall or you don't like Trump, have a little respect for your intelligence and your brain and the right to think for yourself. Because even if you don't like Trump or the wall, they're saying that it's not dangerous in Mexico, that Trump's lying, that there's no such thing as crime and all that stuff, which is totally not true. It's statistically not true, like I said. Literally, Mexico's having one of its worst years on record, and it's a very complicated situation down there. So that's totally not true. But then they'll tell you it's not dangerous and Trump's wrong. But then they'll tell you it is dangerous. It's dangerous only when Trump wants to put people back there. Now all of a sudden, it is really dangerous and they can't go back there. So if it is dangerous, but it's not dangerous, but it is dangerous only when they go back there, you're admitting that there is an issue. And like with all parts of the world, it's not that I'm not wanting to be kind and compassionate, but you don't want to inherit the problems of there. You know that there's issues that people are escaping from, according to the news. We don't want to inherit them. So it's a multi-layered approach to be nice and compassionate, but not inherit the problems. I say all the time, and you could quote me on this and take this quote and use it, kindness and compassion is not the same as foolishness, weakness, and being naive. And people, for some reason, think that being foolish, being weak, being naive, and is the same as being virtuous and very, very better than, holier than thou. And it's not true. It's really not true. Like President Trump said, I've been covering for a while, the amount of young women and girls getting raped and human trafficked is very, very high. And a lot of these numbers are not going down because they're being incentivized by the media and other people to happen. So if you're a male, and they say it's all women and children, which is what the Democrats say, it's not. I mean, even MSNBC, when they were covering the caravan, they admitted that 80 to 90% of them were men. So on their own networks, they'll tell you that it's mostly men. But when they're pandering to your speech, they'll say women and children. Yes, Trump uses tragedies as well. It goes both ways. What I'm trying to say is, though, it's not all we got to help or else everybody's racist, sexist, and xenophobic. There's real life consequences to lying. There's real life consequences that affect tens of thousands of women and children in a negative way when you lie about the situation at hand. And, they're voting. I don't know to what extent, but we pay other countries billions of dollars, tens of billions. I mean, the amount of money we give in foreign aid to other country, it just seems to me, I don't like to overuse this word, but it just seems a little treasonous that we could give 40, 50 billion to another country for free, and then for our own country, we don't have $5 billion. It doesn't make sense to me, but the real point I want to make is, because I understand some people do like Trump, they don't like Trump, they think it's a big deal. It's not a big deal. A wall makes total sense in every aspect of life, and the real reason I want to make this stream is whether you agree with it or not, it's just so obvious that the Democrats are lying, not only what they previously said, but the fact that they're saying they want border security. I'm going to keep harping on that. They want border security without a border wall. So no first line of defense, but they expect you to think that they're going to somehow do a good job, that they're leaving it wide open. What are they going to do? Hire hundreds of thousands of people instead of just having a wall and hiring 50,000 people? I mean, it's very, very simple. If you have good security at an apartment building, you only need one or two security guards. If you close the port of entry, then you could put one person there and one person there. A lot of people do that strategy with their apartment building. If you have no walls and no doors and the open entry to everybody, any sort of border security at that point is going to be 20, 30, 40, 50 times harder, more expensive over time. I mean, it's just so goofy that this is even a debating point, and it's all just because people don't like Trump. Like I said, I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't like the wall. I was one of those people 2 years ago that was tweeting, oh my God, Trump's working with the KKK. Like, I was brainwashed temporarily by Bernie Sanders and these people where they caught me into their rhetoric, and I'm like, you know what? Trump is not the kind of guy I want. And I get why people don't like him. I get that he's not the be-all, end-all. He has a little bit of an attitude, but all these other people, like, just because if I still didn't like him, I wouldn't pretend like a wall wouldn't work. My thought even before was like, I'm not gung-ho over the wall, but if he wants to build a wall, build a wall. Like, I get it. It's not a big deal. Like, that's not the big scoop here. There's people being enslaved in Libya because our government went in, funded extremists who killed a leader of a country, and now there's people who are getting sold into slavery for a couple $100, according to BuzzFeed and other mainstream media, not just BuzzFeed. But that's the big scoop. It's not your feelings. It's not Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's not Trump is mean because he wants to do something that's smart, and I'm not smart enough to figure that out, and I'm caught in this, racist, sexist, xenophobic, don't hurt my feelings. I mean, and it's not just certain races or religions like the news claims. I looked the other day, there's upwards of 52 million Hispanics in America legally. You think they want people coming in illegally? I know dozens of people that don't want that. Why? No one wants that. I have Muslim friends from Pakistan that think it's the goofiest thing, and it's offensive to them because they have family that can't come from Pakistan because they have a lottery system. That's what the Democrats and liberals do. Instead of letting the best people to our country, which would make sense, a merit-based program like Trump talks about too, based on merit, they say, oh, let's just roll the dice and let anyone in. That's a slap in the face to a lot of immigrants, millions upon tens of millions of immigrants. That's a slap in the face to tens of millions of Latinos. It's not just white people. And to be honest, I might share a viral clip later. There's a black resident from California, actually my friend, she's very smart. She's explaining, where do these people go? It's not like they put them in Beverly Hills. They don't go to the governor's mansion. They'll drop them off in Watts and Compton, and they'll drop them off in New York City, and they'll drop them off in other parts. That'll negatively affect the black community in a way of like, okay, what benefit would it have to people that pay taxes and people that are looking for jobs and trying to raise up in life to let millions of people come in illegally when there's millions of people waiting to come legally? It's not really helping anyone. Yeah, to help certain people. I'm not anti-illegal immigrants, to be honest. If people are here, that's fine. Overall, I agree, 99% of illegal immigrants are not doing anything really negatively. Like, it's not like catastrophic. I do agree with that. But It can be, it will be. It's like, if you have a leak, let it get big enough and it'll damage a lot of stuff. And I'm not trying to compare it to water, but it's a metaphor that makes total sense. Like, we let immigration in a little bit, that's fine, but Mexico has issues. People know that. That's why they want to come here. And that's what the news says. We don't want to inherit those problems. And where that did happen in the world is in Germany, in Sweden, and UK, but the liberal media doesn't want to talk about it. And it's very fake to me. I'm very kind, I'm very compassionate, but the way that they say, no, it's not happening, but then they'll tell you, it's like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they'll say, no, it's not happening. Everyone's racist, sexist, and xenophobic. And then once no one's looking, Newsweek and Reuters will report, oh, there's a huge uptick in crime because of the migrants we brought in. But, they'll tell you the truth, and then they'll lie to you a week later, and people are so caught in their anti-Trump rhetoric. It's not that people from the Middle East are bad. Far from it. I have a lot of friends there. But if you inherit the problems of the Middle East, then it becomes bad. In Iran, in Saudi Arabia, in countries like Pakistan, you don't get to be LGBT. You know what I'm saying? If you're big in LGBT, one of your biggest concerns in the world should be, in the Islamic world, they don't actually like you. You know what I'm saying? That's your debate with them, but they don't want you there. You're not welcome there. So if you bring enough people in from those societies and those ideologies, you're not going to be welcome in America. You're not going to be welcome in Europe. And it's starting to slowly happen. It's just the LGBT community's brainwashed, and the liberals, oh, we love these people so much more than we love English people. It's like, okay, well, congratulations on now inheriting those problems. In London, this is just mainstream liberal news. Gun violence is up. Knife violence is up. Rape is up. Female genital mutilation is up. A lot of bad categories. Violent crime on a total is way up, to the point where it surpassed New York City for the first time in modern history. And they're not going back, because now instead of making the problem better, they ban people from talking about it. They say it's illegal to make a Facebook post. You can go to jail or get a fine for making a Facebook post. They don't have free speech. So they like are a PR team for one culture. They silence their own people. It's the same thing here with the United States. That's why I say I'm glad we're here, because I to be honest, I'd rather Mexico be next to us than a lot of these, a little more radical countries. Like, Mexico's not that bad. And I really do like, at the core, Mexican culture. But there's problems in the Mexican world. It's just true. It's what people are leaving. There's violent crime. There's, lawlessness in many sense. And Trump is the president of the United States. He's the security guard for our country. His job is not to pander to people. If you're a security guard, oh, I'm going to let anybody in because I'm not trying to be racist. That's not your job as a security guard. Your job is to follow the law, and you have the authority to say, nah, you, not you. Hold your line, protect your line. As I say, that's Trump's job. He's the president of the United States. So, of course, he doesn't want lawlessness in our country like there is in many parts of Mexico. Why would he? If any president does that, immediately fire them and hire a new guy or vote for a new guy. They're not doing your country any service. It's very, very simple. There's nothing wrong with Mexico and Mexicans and Latinos, Hispanics, Latinas, but there's just basic common sense of like borders. Many countries have them. Mexico has them for its southern neighbors, and everyone does that. It's very, very simple. We want to help people. We want to be kind and compassionate, but I'm tired of liberal media and phony Democratic politicians lying about saying we want security, but we don't want a wall. You don't want security if you don't want a wall. Just be honest. That's what I like about Trump. He'll say something that I might not agree with, or you might not agree with, but he'll at least tell you, where Trump stands. He told you right out the gate, and he's doing exactly what he said. He's doing it in Syria. He's doing it in the Middle East. He's trying to do it here. He's trying to do everything he said. These other guys are two-faced snakes. They'll say, oh, we love security. We want security, just no wall. No, you don't. Just be honest. At least be like the socialist communists who say, we don't want a wall. This is stolen land. I can at least semi-respect that. They're not lying to my face. They don't believe in this country. At least be like New York Times. They put out an article recently. They said, would human extinction be a bad thing? They're trying to tell you that killing all humans would actually be beneficial to the earth. So I appreciate that. I'm like, at least show your true colors. Stop pretending like you're the nicest people ever. You just hate humans. And in a weird way, I respect that more than a two-faced liar who pretends like they're trying to save humanity or America when they're really purposely trying to crush humanity and America. And a lot of these people are. They're not that dumb. They're not that foolish. They have their own alternative agenda, and it's not protecting the American citizens. And it's very, very, very simple. I mean, everything I just said is basic common sense, standard, logic, and hopefully people consider this and understand instead of this creepy narrative we're caught in. Because where do we go from here? Before I end, I just want to say, I always thought the two-party system was a mess. It was. Republicans were not perfect, far from it. McCain, Mitt Romney, George Bush, I don't know that they were any better than Obama. And people can make the argument either way. But what we have is President Trump. He's different. For the better or worse, he's different. I think he's for the better. Some people think he's for the worse. But we can agree that Trump is a totally different beast. Here's the final point I'm going to make. Where do we go after Trump? He's going to be here for 4 or 8 years. The way the Democrats are acting and the way the far left is acting is, without Trump, our country is totally screwed. That's by their choice. 4 years ago, Obama did exactly what Trump did in many ways. 8 years ago, Chuck Schumer and even Hillary Clinton did a lot of what Trump wants to do 8 years ago. Even with a Democrat politician, it wouldn't be that bad. I'm not saying Hillary, that would probably be terrible, but even Obama, it got really bad in the Middle East and certain things here, but it didn't get that bad yet. But Democrats, in pursuit of doing the opposite of Trump, there's nowhere to go from here. People think if Trump's out, yes, we won. No, you don't understand. The whole country's going to go to crap at that point because they've literally lied and done the opposite of him to the point where they have no morals. They have no security. They have no safety. They have no basic common sense. They're not trying to. They're trying to stop Trump. And in a lot of ways, regardless of what you think of his rhetoric, Trump is doing a lot of very basic common sense stuff. He's very pragmatic. He stopped the war in Syria dead on because he saw a YouTube video and he's like, you know what? You're right. This is wrong. Who are these people? No one else is going to do that. You're never going to have somebody else like Trump who's not sold out to the military-industrial complex, who's not sold out to pharmacy lobbyists. Trump is pragmatic. He's common sense. And if the Democrats win, and if a bad Republican wins, but almost the whole Democratic Party, the whole left, from the far left socialist communists who are socialists and communists, they'll pretend like they're not because it's not trendy to say, but behind closed doors, trust me, they love socialism and communism. I know this. From there to the mainstream, like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, it's all bad. It's all open borders, no common sense, no logic, very high taxes, give rights and your money to people who aren't even citizens of this country, whether it's in the Middle East or here. They're just squandering trillions of our dollars to other people, and our prices are going up. In California, you have a gas tax. I mean, that's what they're rioting over in Belgium and France. They don't want the UN to control them and have high taxes and unfettered migration. And California is just oh, we have $2 higher gas and they have tax on it. That's no deal. They're going to tax text messages. They run out of your money. It's a failed economic policy. It's a failed position that has worked 0% of the time. It's like driving head on into a bus and being no, it's going to work this time. No, it does. You can't drive head on into a bus. It's a 0% success chance, and it's not going to work here. So what I'm saying is, regardless of what you think about the border of Trump, people really have to wisen up because there's nowhere else to go from here. It's Trump or hell. And I don't care if you believe in religion or God. It's Trump or hell. And it's not because I think that's true, that he's the only good person. It's because in pursuit of disagreeing with Trump, they have chose the wrong decision in almost every category of everything, from media, from foreign policy, and there's bad Republicans too on foreign policy, on border security, on taxes, on every aspect of America. They've literally done a 360 or a 180. I'm sorry, 360 is a full spin. They've done a 180 just to do the opposite of him. They don't believe anything that they're saying. Alexandria, those people believe what they're saying, but they're just very foolish. But these Chuck Schumers and Nancy Pelosi, they don't believe what they're saying. It's I can't tell who I don't like the most. The people who are so foolish that they actually believe the lies, or the people who are perpetuating the lies knowing that, just trying to regain power for themselves. I'll end on this. From the UN in Europe to here, there's a way bigger agenda of total global control. There really is. You can see it with the UN. They want to control migration. They want to control speech laws. They want to make it illegal for you to protest or do anything about it. Say what you want about Trump, but you could say anything you want about Trump. Try that in Mexico, you'll get your head blown off. Try that in the Middle East, you'll get your head blown off. Try that in Europe, you'll get arrested. America is the last bastion of free speech, and we're slowly losing that, not to Republicans. You could say what you want about them. It's the Democrats and the far left progressives who are going to try to take your speech as freedom. What do you think happens when your taxes go up, when you can't speak out about certain things, and now you don't have any power to even fight back? This is literally their agenda, and it goes hand in hand with what the UN's doing in Europe. They're unfettered migration, crushing Europe, saying you can't say anything about it. They want to hyper control everything. No, we control it. The leader of Germany and the leader of France, they're trying to control all of Europe. Read a history book. This has happened before. Germany tried to take over the whole world, and so did Russia, and it didn't work out. It's happening again. People are just so foolish and naive. Oh, that couldn't happen. There's no way that would ever happen. Well, you're so dumb, Anomaly. You want to keep the Second Amendment? What do you think? You're going to protect yourself? Yes, moron. I mean, look at Hitler and Stalin. This is not 10 million years ago. This is under 100 million years ago. There's probably people in this live stream who were alive for the Hitler regime. Literally, this stuff happens. And it's happening now. Why wouldn't it happen? There's slave trade in Libya. Oh, well, it couldn't happen here. Why? What makes you so special? Because you have Uber Eats and a cell phone and Apple products? You think that you're above what's happened to humans ever since the beginning of man? It's happening. It's going to happen. It will happen. It's happening in Europe. It's happening in the Middle East. There's slavery. There's no free speech. And there's a global France and Germany little cabal combined with Democratic politicians and Republican politicians, most of them besides Trump. Trump's in the middle like, help me, America. And people are like, let's crush the one guy who's trying to save our lives. No, let's not. Let's support the one guy who's trying to save our lives, because they are trying to control America. And America is the heart and soul of the world. We've made a lot of mistakes. We've had terrible leaders. We've done a lot of terrible things. I'm not saying we're perfect, but we are the heart and soul of the world. You're going to find a certain freedom and a certain inspiration. And, you know, a lot of the best inventors were from America. It's not by chance. We have really great people here, and we have a really great foundation. We have a great foundation where people can come from Pakistan. People can come from Mexico. People can come from Guatemala and El Salvador and come here and make their dreams come true. We're one of the greatest nations ever because of the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and just the basic Constitution that holds our even amongst all this oligarchy and all of this total corruption which we have. Go to Mexico and you'll find out corruption is crazy. Like, people come from Brazil and they laugh at what's going on here. That's why Bolsonaro won. But it's like, this is not that bad. It's terrible. Don't get me wrong. But like, other countries, it's not the same. Like, we are the heart and soul of the world, and we're beating very tiny. And I'm trying to save it, and Trump's trying to save it, and a lot of people are. And people are trying to crush us while we're down, open our borders, let our country be controlled by the UN, like Justin Trudeau. He's like, oh, yeah, let's let Germany control us. I have never read a history book. What if Merkel told us how many migrants to take? What if Merkel inspired me so I had speech laws so I can start arresting professors for not using words I want them to use? It's like, dude, what? That's not liberal. That's literally like a creepy outside force controlling your country. And Trump is not the first one to have, ooh, did Trump talk to Russia? I don't know. Why don't you take a look at what the United States has done for the last 30 years? We're sold out to military companies. We're sold out to weapons companies, We're sold out to the pharmacy industry. We're already sold out to foreign countries and foreign influence. I mean, it's absolutely rampant in our country. And Russia, just because they own a news, Al Jazeera is Qatar's state television. That's Qatar propaganda, although they do some good work too. Al Jazeera, BBC is British. There's a lot of Saudis who are invested in all our tech companies, and even according to recent reports of the Wall Street Journal and others, they're influencing Twitter, telling them who to ban. I mean, these countries, you're not allowed to speak out against the religion, and you're not allowed to speak out against the leaders. Look what happened with the Saudi Arabia, Turkey. Everyone's like, oh, it's Trump. No, why don't you learn something from that? It doesn't work very well over there speaking out against these type of leaders. Meanwhile, you have these people controlling our tech companies, telling them who to set. They're trying to take over our country. They're trying to install their ideology of totalitarianism, fascism, religious extremism in our country now. And it has nothing to do with Trump. And I'm tired of Democrats and the left, although I know they mean well. The road to hell is paved with gold, or whatever the saying is. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, or something. I don't know. You get my point. I mean, being weak, being foolish, being naive, being unintelligent, being brainwashed is not the same as being kind and compassionate. If you think you're doing a good job, but it results in 10,000 women and children getting raped and human trafficked, you're not a hero. If you think you're really great for supporting a leader who made LGBT rights here, but he is responsible for slavery and organ harvesting in an African country, you're not really helping black people in the world. I'm sorry. So these are things that we have to think about. And I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I am, but people don't critically think anymore. And hopefully, whether you agree or disagree with certain parts of this stream, it gets you to think a little bit, because the world is not all cotton candy and bubblegum, and we know that. That's why people are trying to desperately come here. So that should be obvious. It shouldn't even be debatable, but for some reason, people hate the president so much that basic common sense is now highly contended. Up is down, left is right, Ms. is Mrs., this is that. And I'm pro-LGBT. I'm not even trying to say that, but it's like, at what point do you just stop? Oh, we love the gays, but we're going to try to ruin Ellen's life and Kevin Hart's life, but we love African Americans. It's like, no, you're psychopaths. You're like on a path to ruin everything. You need to take a nap for a day or 2 days, or maybe take a break for a week and, give up your journalist job, go farm for a month, come back to the computer, and realize that life is not that bad here. And you're going to make it worse with this foolishness and complete lawlessness and goofiness. It's just goofy. And I'm Mickey to bring back law and order. It's a joke. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed that live stream as much as I did. If you want to support, I have a Patreon, a donor box. I appreciate that. I'm 100% funded by the people. All my videos, I either make up on the spot like this, I write all my own stuff, I edit it. I'm a one-man operation for everything I do. I pretty much control 100% of posts I make. I do everything. So I appreciate the support. I'm not stopping. I'm stronger than ever, feeling good. Thank you for that. If not, sign up to my free email list. It's 100% free. All you have to do is click the free email list link in the comments or at the top. Sign up in 5 or 10 seconds. I don't spam. I don't sell anything yet. It's been like 2 months since I've sent the last one, so I'm not gonna bother you. Still, people are like, "Can you unfollow me?" I was like, "Why are you unsigning up to my email list? I only send 1 per 2 months. That's too much for some people." Man, cold world. I can't catch a break there. But sign up to my free email list and check out my YouTube channel. It's posted there. I was on the Andrew Klavan show with Daily Wire. Really great guy. Thank you so much, Andrew, to have me on. It was probably one of the best interviews I've ever done. Thanks to him. Good lighting. I look good in the lighting. But anyway, also good questions by Andrew. He had really good questions for me. I got to say some stuff I've never said before. So on my YouTube, check that out. Follow me on here if you like this. And if you don't do anything, have a good day. Have a good week. And whether you agree or disagree with me, don't let bad vibes bring you down. Sometimes you don't have to watch things you don't agree with. We don't have to freak out all the time. And like I see tweets I don't agree with and they bother me, but like let's dial down that a little bit and let's look for the blessings in life, because either you're blessed or you're stressed. And some things stress everyone out on both sides of the political debate, but I would love to see more gratefulness, more appreciation, and also more self-accountability and self-awareness, because we all have flaws and sins, and too many people are always pointing the finger at others instead of looking within themselves. And I think that's when you start to make the biggest mistakes, because we all make mistakes. But if you spend 20 years pointing the finger at other people and you spend 0% of the time self-reflecting yourself, that's how you get played by the news. That's how you get played by a lot of different companies and a lot of different aspects of life, because everyone's trying to make a sale out here. And a lot of people don't care about us. You know what I'm saying? On the left and the right in every industry, a lot of people don't care. And I think that's what makes me rare and some other people that are leading the way, is I actually do care. And unfortunately, everybody prioritizes money and power over basic, humanity. And I think we could change that slowly but surely, and we are on both sides. Life's getting better. Let's not throw it all to the side over President Trump. Thank you guys. Have a good week.